Now you were discovered by Jay-Z, is that right?
Yeah.
Is that,
well, I was discovered in Barbados by two producers, Evan Rogers and Carl Sturken.
So you were singing out there already?
Well, no, I was just in school, but my friend knew them, so she helped us to meet up and audition. And after that, we did a demo together, and eventually Jay-Z got his hands on it, and we had to audition for him.
Okay, and he, I guess, immediately knew you had what it takes, did he? He was...
Yeah, we signed the deal that night, and we started our journey together.
Now, okay, let's talk about the big hit you had here, because what a remarkable, from nowhere, suddenly that song Umbrella, and everyone's singing, everyone's great, and it was over here, I think it was 10 weeks it was #1 in this country. That never normally happens unless you've been on a reality show over here. I mean, that's the thing you need.
Awesome.
And we had some photographs there, some fans with umbrellas. Is it true they banned umbrellas from the concerts, so you didn't want fans to turn up with them?
Not me. I wanted my fans to turn up with them.
So
I thought it was cool, and they did it anyway, but the venues, it was for a safety reason. It would block people behind them as well. It could be used as a weapon, they thought.
Also, you can take someone's eye out with an umbrella indoors, can't you?
Yeah, so it was a little dangerous, which I understand, but...
Have you ever said to anyone you could take someone's eye out with that? Have you ever said that when you've seen someone with an umbrella?
No. No, I don't think to say you can go someone's eyes out usually when I see someone with an umbrella.
No, I'm not saying you should encourage it. I'm not saying you should say you can
No, the
take
first thing
someone's eye out
that
with
comes to mind is you can protect yourself from getting soaked with that umbrella.
Yeah, yeah. I like it when you're... Because sometimes you speak quite American, and other times the Barbados accent just comes out, doesn't it?
I can't help it. I can't help it. I'm still Bajan, so you'll hear that.
OK, let's talk about the new album, which is called Rated R, is that right?
Yes.
OK. And this is quite honest. You talk about a lot of things that happened in your life, and of course the big story in your life the last few years, apart from your success, was the assault that you suffered. And you use some of that, or you talk about aspects of your life in them. Do you find is it easy to talk about? Have you moved on from that? Is it something still that is present?
I mean, of course, I don't like to talk about it. I never like to talk about it. That's why I never did until recently, because I felt like it was something that needed to be said to help young girls out there who are looking up to me. But now we're past that, and I just sing about it.
Well, so you've kind of processed it. You can sing about it, and it doesn't take you back to the awfulness.
I mean, it
of the
does.
situation
I perform every word. I relive it. Like when I sing my songs now, it's not just great melodies. It's lyrics. I sing every word, every sentence.
Well, we had Reese Witherspoon on a few weeks ago, and we were talking about a similar situation, and she was saying one of the reasons why she's put her name behind various causes is because a lot of young girls, when something like that happens, they feel almost like they can't talk about it, they shouldn't talk about it, as though they brought it on themselves, or they are in some way to blame.
I mean, people are scared to talk about it. Also, it's not something you want to relive. It's not comfortable to talk about. It's not a fun memory that you just want to share with people. It's something you want to erase the minute it's over. So that's why people don't talk about it, but...
Well, you know what? I applaud you for getting out there, and I'm sure everyone wants to, because it's a great thing you do.
Thank you so much.
And it's obviously a difficult thing as well.
Thank you.
I saw in the papers the other day, I don't know if this is true or not, that you appeared at a private function, a wedding.
Yes, I did.
Just this week, and you're performing for, it's a wedding or a wedding party, and according to the newspapers, please put us right on this, £1.5 million they paid you for just the 4 songs.
Bollocks.
Is it?
I might as well say it. It's, no, that's not true.
Not true.
It was
that would work
£2
out.
million. No, it was nowhere near that amount of money, and I sang for about an hour and 20 minutes.
Right. And one of those was your single, your current single, which I would have thought you'd throw that in free. Surely that's
I did
promotional.
throw it in free.
Yeah.
I wasn't going to sing it, and someone said, "Do I want love?" And I said, "All right, I do."
That's very good. But you're not short of cash as such, are you? I know you had I know that obviously you being short of cash would be different to most people being short of cash. It would be not enough money for ball cream, but it's. But there was a situation a few years back I read where it did look like you were running on, you know, not exactly empty, but not.
No, that wasn't true. But I mean, it was when I left the last manager and then with the the accountants. But we don't want to go into that.
Okay, we won't.
Too technical.
I just wondered about that.
If you want to borrow a fiver, you can.
Okay. Right. Do you carry money on you?
It's in the car.
You have
I haven't got money now because I'm coming onto your show because I've got to be posh.
Of course, I don't have money on me either. And do you normally use credit cards?
Who made that suit, by the way? Is that Hunt?
This was it's some designer I've never heard of before. It's
Don't let them iron it.
Masatomo.
Masatomo. I'm going there tomorrow as well.
You like it?
Yeah.
Masatomo. Well, there you go.
Yeah. I like a nice Masatomo.
You know what though?
Especially after I shave my balls.
Yeah. I'm warning you though, Elton. They're a bit on the pricey side.
They are.
You've pared your lifestyle right down. I know in the.
I've pared my lifestyle right down.
But about '88, you sold off loads of stuff, didn't you?
Yeah.
I remember that.
But then I only had one house in '98.
How many you got now?
5.
You got 5 houses. Okay.
Yeah.
You've kind
I
of
hardly
pared
pay
down.
money.
You sort of pared down your items of home.
Well, no, I just got rid of everything because I just, you know, felt like getting rid of it because I didn't know anywhere to put them. So, and then I got sober and I, you know, changed my.
Yeah, because I met you back when you were drinking and doing the cocaine and stuff.
I know you were fabulous.
Yeah.
And, you know, I'll never forget it.
We had a night. Yeah. It was special. But you were, for several years...
He could say his ours before I met him.
Let's get my next guest out. I think she's one of the most exciting and brilliantly talented vocalists to emerge in this country in many, many years. It is Amy Winehouse.
I'm trouble, yeah, trouble now. I'm trouble, I stir my town. I'm trouble.
Wow, Amy, you look fantastic. I don't want to give you my cold. Wow, Amy, you look stunning. That's a great dress. Well done. Congratulations. That certainly perked me up knowing. Amy, I'm a big fan of. I heard her album, and initially I wouldn't listen to that sort of thing, I thought. Someone told me it's new jazz. Okay, and I know you might dispute that. The album's called Frank. Listen to it. It was knocked out by your voice. So where are you from? Tell us a bit about yourself. How long have you been singing? What's going on?
I'm from Southgate. I was born in North London, and yeah, I'm a jazz singer. You know, that's what I come from. Even though I'm really young.
Yeah. Well, now 20 years old. Why turn towards jazz? Most people your age, I would guess, and I hope I'm not just spouting a cliche or generalisation here, but I suspect it's true. Most youngsters, when they start singing, they want to do R&B, or they want to do rock and roll, or even hip-hop or rap or something.
Yeah.
But going to jazz, and it does seem to be quite a new trend now. There's quite a few new sort of jazz voices on the scene.
Yeah, I wouldn't call a lot of people that are doing jazz singers. You know what I mean? My albums are kind of straight jazz, hip-hop, cross. There is no blues or folk, you know what I mean? It's just a straight jazz hip hop album, and a lot of the stuff out is not heartfelt, you know. And I just wanted to write music that was emotional and that people would want to listen to and connect with.
And you write it all yourself, or you write with someone?
I write all the lyrics myself. I write on the guitar.
Okay. What are the songs about then? If people haven't heard the album yet, what kind of subjects do we deal with here?
Well, I always said I never wanted to write about love, and then I went and did that anyway. I've got maybe 7 or 8 songs that are about this guy.
Is that your ex-boyfriend you're talking about this?
Yeah.
Man, now I wouldn't want to be an ex-boyfriend of yours. I mean, I'm sure it's a fun ride while it lasts, but afterwards, then you get the album coming out because you're quite hard on him, I feel.
Well, I was very frustrated at the way things turned out with me and him, as he was. And you know, when you're quite emotionally tied into someone, it's never that simple.
Yeah. You call him a lady boy at one stage on the album. Right. There's something no one wants to be called, even if you are a lady boy, I suspect. You're a very confident young woman, I've noticed. Have you always been kind of this self-possessed?
Yeah.
No, I mean that nicely. I mean, you know, I'm surprised, and it's a good thing. Do you get it from your mum, your dad? I mean,
I don't know. My dad's quite outspoken. He's a cab driver.
Oh, well, that's say no more.
Yeah.
That's it. And has he got a picture of you in the cab now? Does he lean back? Does he try and flog your album to people in the taxi?
I don't think so.
You're managed by the company, and this surprised me. I only found this out today. You're managed by the company you look after S Club 7, you used to look after the Spice Girls, Simon Fuller. Have they tried to mould you in any way, though, if people ask you to do things to change the way you look or speak or behave?
Yeah, one of them tried to mould me into a big triangle shape, and I went, no. Nah, you know, I've got my own style. I've got my own style, and I wrote my own songs, and, you know, if someone has so much of something already, there's very little you can add.
Yeah. You know what I like about you as well is the way you sound so common. No, because I am common, and, you know, it's like, you know, it's so refreshing to hear someone who isn't speaking like they've taken elocution lessons.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They gave me elocution lessons, but they kind of...
They didn't stick?
Off my back, yeah.
But you do seem to be really full of life, really keen to engage an audience again.
I can't wait to tour, you know. The promo thing is nice. It's nice being on your show. I love being on your show because you're funny and it's light and you get to play some songs and all that.
Yeah.
But sometimes you end up doing a day of just one interview after another, all day long, and there's no relief, there's no levity. It's just like...
Does that feel weird for you?
That's hard. I want to go on tour, because it's such a relief to go on tour and actually enjoy myself and play all the songs that we've written and recorded, you know?
When you're talking about yourself like that, do you find people go over the same things? I've noticed even, I've read a couple of the recent interviews and people are still talking about your years of drug use.
Yeah, it's inevitable, you know, yeah, you get stuck with the 7 or 8 pieces of information that they have to hand on their check cards back at the newspaper. David Bowie, oh yeah, bisexual, drugs, likes cats. Whatever it is they have on their checklist, you know. And
That's one thing we have in common.
Yeah. Well, you like your cats a little too much.
Yeah, well. As long as it's consensual and harming no one, David. Here now, I have a bone to pick with you, David. Okay, you know what? I feel you're letting me down a little bit.
That was a smutty look.
No. Here's the deal.
What's the bone you want to pick?
Well, now, you don't make videos like you used to make videos anymore.
No, I made one this year. That's a lie, actually. I'm not in it.
You're not in it. That's what I'm saying. It's not the same.
Yeah.
And I want to see you. I remember when Ashes to Ashes came out, and everyone, I'm not speaking just to myself, we were so excited, weren't we? This great video came out, and it was a new look, and it was strange, and there you are walking down the beach, and there's Boy George, never mind, but it was great.
It wasn't Boy George, it was the other one. What's his name?
Steve Strange.
Steve Strange, yes. Steve Strange.
Wasn't Boy George? Boy George was there as well, wasn't he?
No.
Let's ask some. Was Boy George there? No. See, he was there. We'll double yes in later.
Isn't it a worry when you've got an authoritative audience? I was born on January the 9th, 1947. True? See, they know.
But you have got one of the most rabid followings, and I mean
Yeah,
that. They really are seriously devoted, aren't they?
They're seriously nuts. Yeah.
And we've had a group of people coming down from Liverpool, I believe, and have been waiting outside all morning. You know?
That was that bloke.
And of course, you know what? You know, you've got a bunch of Liverpudlians outside. Everyone's worried about their cars. You know, it's like. Let me ask you something. Earlier this week, David did a special gig, I guess, to get ready, warmed up for the tour. But a very special gig here in London, playing.
To flog the album, actually.
Well, flogging the album, I guess. But it was a terrific gig to be at. But what was interesting was there was a kind of. It was the first time this has been done, I believe. It was beamed live. It was broadcast live to 68 cinemas. Yeah. In 22 different countries.
I believe so, yeah.
Now, was this your idea? Whose idea was this?
No, it's Sony. They said that they had a system where they could make it interactive, where the audiences in the different, countries could phone their questions in. We had quite a good time with that.
Because I was there, and there were people trying to phone in the questions, but the technology didn't really work as well as it might, did it?
Do you know, I got some reports that famously they didn't turn the front 2 speakers on. It was in 5.1 sound, right? Surround sound.
So it's like you're there, isn't it? It's like
but there's no lead singer.
A little bit of a problem.
But the majority of the places, it was an absolute success.
And afterwards, there was a question and answer session. And,
that was the funny part.
Yeah, there were bits where I was helping out in the evening. It was great fun for me, and I said, we got a question from Amsterdam, and we had this kind of weird, which is how often people speak over there, but it wasn't that. It was, we just couldn't hear it.
Yeah.
And in London, nothing. We were 3 miles from Leicester Square, we had nothing. We could have opened the bloody window and shouted, they'd have heard us.
It was mine, you see. Okay, once you've done it...
We missed the mime.
Yeah, well, no, we don't.
I bet you... Well, just do Trapped in a Box. I'm David Blaine. All of me kidneys.
See, it becomes topical suddenly.
What do you make of that, the David Blaine thing in the box?
I couldn't care less.
That's it. Mr. Jay-Z. Oh, is that it? Oh, I've got to go to pat. Okay. Jay-Z, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for joining us, Mr. Jay-Z. You're much taller.
Sit down.
I thought you're much bigger than I thought.
Sit down.
I thought you were quite a small gentleman. I didn't know you were a tall fella. You're a good 6 footer, 6'2", something like that.
I just saw you back there.
Yes, sir. I know. But before we met, I was expecting a little fella to come in. Yeah, we met before the show. How are you? It's nice to see you here.
I'm pretty good. This couch looks way more comfortable back there.
Yeah, well, don't complain, because you'll be back there in a minute, so just stop it. Well, welcome to the United Kingdom. I'm assuming you've been over here before, once or twice?
Once or twice, yeah.
You over here, you're going to be performing, you're touring, you're doing headlines and that kind of thing. You're doing Hyde Park, you're doing a show here, I believe.
I'm a big deal.
And then... and you're also headlining at the iconic Glastonbury Festival this summer. We'll take that pause out there. We'll make it more immediate.
Push it a little bit with the Pro Tools.
Now, here's the thing. Here's the thing about Glastonbury. There's been talk here that it didn't sell out as quickly as it normally does. They said because we have a hip-hop act as the headliner. Did news of this? Did
Yeah,
this
I heard
speculation
that. Reached the States, yeah.
Okay, now what do you think about that? What's the deal there, do you think?
I mean, in the States, 100,000 people in a day is a lot.
Yeah.
But over here, I guess, is, different.
I think it's still a lot.
Yeah.
Are you ready for the Glastonbury experience, do you think?
I'm Yeah, I got boots. Look, my pants are already, look.
They're
You see
already
how my
dirty?
jeans is already dirty.
Yeah, what's wrong with you? You knew you were going to be on TV tonight. Why didn't you make some sort of an effort?
I'm going to wear these into Glastonbury. I'm trying to break these in.
You have your own brand of clothing, I believe.
Yeah, yeah, Rockaware.
Okay, so and are you wearing, is this any of your gear here now tonight? Or?
Don't tell nobody, but no.
No. If you meet a homeboy like me over here when you're here, and you say, that's the kind of guy I want to see pimping my clothes, would you want to send me a box maybe?
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm a kind of generous medium.
It's funny that you say that. I wasn't going to say that, but because I don't really know you like that, but I seen Ricky Gervais earlier.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
And he was telling me about your weight. You don't look that big to me. I think TV adds 20 pounds.
Yeah,
you look
yeah. fantastic. Thank you, Mr. Z.
I wasn't going to bring it up because I don't really know you like that, and I don't, you know, these want to embarrass you in front of your friends, but you brought it up first.
Will, can you come out sooner? Is that okay? He's always so nice to me. Okay, you are a huge hip-hop star. You're a huge star in music generally, but I mean, I guess we talk about that kind of music. You've sold, how many albums? Do you know roughly how many you've sold?
1 or 2 or 3 or 50 million.
50 million CDs, I guess is really the term.
Hey, I have a feeling that no one in this audience bought any one of...
No, I'm sure they did.
Yeah.
I bought the American Gangster one. Well, yeah, that's okay. My stomach got caught on the desk then. What a movie your life would make. Tell us a bit, I mean, tell us as much as you care to about your life, but I mean, your background is quite exceptional, isn't it?
That's cool. My mother passed when I was like 8 years old. I went to live with my grandparents. And she had me when she was 15, so, you know, back then it wasn't as common as the young girls have children at 15, a little more now than they did then. So at that point, she started hustling to be able to provide for me at that point. And she got killed when I was like 8 years old.
So when you say hustling, she was involved with what? She was...
Yeah, selling drugs.
Selling drugs?
Yeah.
Okay, and she was killed as a result of that?
Yeah.
Okay. And you were just 8, so you went to live with your grandmother?
Yeah, my grandmother.
What part of the United States are we talking about?
Queens, Jamaica, Queens.
So that's near New York. That's one of the suburbs of New York,
Yeah.
which I imagine is a tough area, despite the fact that it's called Queens, which makes it sound kind of friendly. Yeah. And so you live with your grandmother then, but you got involved in selling drugs as well, didn't you?
Yeah. Like, my grandparents grew up in a time where their kids' shoes cost $10. You know, it's a big difference now. You know, the shoes cost like $100 for the new Jordans and stuff like that. So it wasn't that they wouldn't do things for me, but I was uncomfortable asking them to do it. So I asked the people that I felt had it to give. You know, the people that I seen that had the jewelry, the nice cars, and the things that they got from hustling.
Okay. And so how old were you when you got involved in selling drugs yourself?
Around 12.
12 years old, man.
Yeah.
That's really difficult for someone from my background to understand.
Yeah.
You know, it just seems like such an alien concept.
Even at 12, you know, you still have to live by your parents' rules.
Yeah.
So there's, you know, you can't just be out hustling. Like, I had to have my grandparents think I was enrolled in an after-school program.
Well, in a way you were.
Yeah.
And then when did you get jailed? When were you called out with this stuff?
Well, when I got to high school, my first year, I got arrested at school.
And how old is that? Because I'm not sure. High school was about 17, 16?
Yeah, 16.
Okay. And you went to jail for how long?
The first time, it wasn't a long time. I just, you know, because it was a juvenile situation. And then the second time, I was going for 7 months.
Right. And is that when you gave up the drugs, you decided to stop? Because I know you're very anti-drugs now, aren't you?
Yeah. My little boy, he's 7 years old. And when he was, you know, when his mother got pregnant with him, I decided to try and do some things differently.
Let me ask you about other aspects of life, because you've been shot. How many times have you been shot?
9 times.
9 times.
Yeah, it was only one situation, though. It was one.
Well, yeah, okay. But they kind of went for it, didn't they?
Yeah.
Because Alan Davis, I don't think he's ever been shot so far. I know you guys are having a chat after the show.
Yeah, you keep talking.
9 times, okay. So you wear a bulletproof vest now most of the time, I believe.
Yeah, in the States, just because I've been shot myself, you know, and I've seen Tupac and Biggie Smalls situation where all their wounds were inflicted in areas that would have prevented their death if they had those
because it's mainly the body shots here. Do you wear anything over the what we call the family jewels in this country?
Nah, really. You know what? I kind of got that covered.
Have you? There you go. You hit the pose.
Immediately, I hit the...
Wow. I hope Alan's taking notes out there. Where were you shot? Which part of the body? Where did the bullet
Oh, man, I got shot in my hand. My thumb came out of my hand, my face.
Shot in the face?
Yeah.
And where did that come out?
Out the tooth.
Wow, oh my goodness, there's a hole there.
Yeah,
I don't know why I'm surprised the bullet went through there, but it's alarming.
Yeah, it kind of changed my voice too, and this is the voice that sells 8 million records, so I think everything happens for a reason.
What a positive outlook to have. You get shot right in the face, and you say, well, you know what, hey, we have something in common.
Yeah.
I have a slight speech impediment, you won't have noticed
Yeah,
that, it's barely recognizable.
You have a W.
Yeah, that's right. A what? Don't start now. But you know, mine came about, it's a different story, but it's similar. When I was at school, in infant school, there was a rope ladder that we used in PE. And it was tied up when we weren't using it, because that was the assembly hall, you know, the kind of thing. But it was not tied securely. No. And during one of the lessons, it came loose, hit me in the mouth. I know it doesn't sound like much compared to yours, but it hurt at the time.
Yeah. My hit was a little harder, that's why.
Well, you're saying that, how do you know? All these people, I think. Great to have you here. Thank you for joining us.
Happy to be here.
Okay, now, should I call you Eminem or Marshall or Slim? What do you like to be called?
Eminem, Slim Marshall.
Eminem, Slim Marshall, all in one word.
You can call me.
Wow. We got the voice as well. Hey, now, where have you been? What have you been doing? It's been what? Has it been 4 years, 5 years since the last album? And now you've got the new one, Relapse, coming out, but it's been a long period. This was a deliberate step away from things, I guess.
Yeah, I wanted to pull back from the spotlight for a little while, you know, just, I guess, kind of reassess my whole career. You know what I mean? I ended up in rehab in 2005, and, you know, just kind of wanted to, like, I was trying to figure out where I was going. You know what I mean? Like where I was going in my personal life and career-wise and everything, like what I was gonna do. So I kind of wanted to, I knew I wanted to take a break from the spotlight, but at the same time I still wanted to do music, you know, because I'd go crazy if I didn't do music.
And I guess you were still creating music, writing music in that period, even if you weren't releasing it.
Yeah, I was writing music too, but I don't know, I kind of took the producer's role even more so, and, you know, stepped away from the mic, even though, I mean, I was still writing, I was still making songs, but it just wasn't, I wasn't making anything that I felt like was good enough to put out at that time. You know what I mean?
So, and then what happened? It just clicked again, or you just thought the time was right?
Well, I got sober first of all, you know what I mean? So I had to...
How tricky was that for you? Was that a difficult journey? Was that a tough thing to do?
Yeah, definitely. It was pretty rough. You know, there were a couple of years that were pretty bad for me. But, you know, I'm a little over a year sober now, so I'm...
Well, congratulations.
Happy to, yeah.
That's good, I'm pleased with that. Okay, I haven't got the new album yet. It's not quite out yet. I've been given a few tracks. I've been enjoying them very much. They're great fun. The single's terrific. But I love, you know, I'm a big admirer of you. I think you're just such a talented writer. What was the song you did about performing that was in 8 Mile? Lose Yourself.
Yeah.
That's got some of the best lyrics. Just such an incredible, captures the kind of the fear of performing and the need to perform and the desire to perform. I just thought that was a remarkable piece of work. If you weren't doing, if you weren't writing rap, were you writing beforehand? Was it rap that got you into writing in the first place, or were you already expressing yourself in that way?
Nah, I mean, I didn't actually like start writing. It was definitely hip hop. You know, I didn't pick up a pen and realize that I could write anything until, you know, rap got me into doing that. You know what I mean? I heard Ice-T, Reckless was one of the first songs I ever heard. Once I heard Run DMC, LL Cool J, I was like, this is what I want to do.
So this is the first wave of the big rappers, this is really, Run DMC, those guys. Did you like Houdini and those guys as well?
Oh, yeah.
The Fat Boys, you remember the Fat Boys?
Yeah, buddy.
All you can eat.
That's good.
Yeah.
Thank you.
We should team up, we should do something, maybe release something together.
That'd be hot.
One question people always ask is, when you go to sleep, do you see in your dreams? No. Okay?
Hold on. Let me just cross that off the list. Okay. That's number 4.
The other question. When Jonathan Ross puts his fingers up and says, how many fingers do I have up? Am I looking at them? Absolutely not.
I wouldn't do that to you, Stevie.
And the final question. When you're making love, do you close your eyes? Can I keep it real?
You can keep it real.
Abso-fucking-lutely not.
Oh,
I want to see what I got.
Oh, fantastic. Okay, let me ask you about your early days. Let me ask you about your early performances, because I remember getting hold of one of your early albums, and I was already aware of your work as an adult. And then someone gave me one of the little Stevie Wonder albums, and it was just a remarkable sound. What an incredible voice, what musical skills, just unbelievable for a person of that age. How old were you when you started performing? And do you ever look back, or at the time did you think, you know, I'm missing out on a normal childhood, this is great, of course, but it's a different life. What was it like for you as a kid, being a performer at such an early age?
Well, you know, the first, I first started out with Motown. I was almost 11 years, so I was like in March of 61 is when I started. And the first record we put out was called, I call it Pretty Music, but the old people call it the blues. And I remember Marvin Gaye played drums on that. And then we did another song, Little Water Boy, with Clarence Paul, who was my producer and musical director for a while. And then we did, I think, Signed My Contract on Love, which was written by Lamont Dozier. And then we had the Fingertips, which was the single that got kind of popular.
Yeah. Was it number one? Did it go to number one?
It did go to number one, yes.
This was back in '63, I think, is that
Yeah,
correct?
it's amazing because I was like, you know, the album was called The 12-Year-Old Genius. I was saying, I'm not 12, I'm 13.
You mentioned Marvin Gaye there, you mentioned Lamont Dozier. You know, these are names that to us are, you know, iconic, legendary names. You knew these guys, you worked with them on a regular basis. Motown must have been a remarkable place to be.
Amazing for me because you got to think, I didn't even understand that I was there to determine if I would have a job or not. I was just, you know, enjoying meeting the different people. I mean, I'd heard of Diana Ross and, you know, Marvin Gaye and the Temptations, the early group of the Temptations, and it was like, wow, it's like being in a candy shop, you know, just meeting all the different people and playing all the different instruments. And when I was doing some things, you know, I think they called Barry Gordy up. He was at home having a steak, supposedly, and I finally met him, and I remember I met him and Smokey around the same time. I said, yeah, Smokey, you know, I can sing better than you. He said, great. And I met Barry Gordy, and he said, well, you play good harmonica, but I don't like your singing. And so I said something stupid like, I understand you cheat people out of their money, and some stupid stuff.
A precocious youngster.
Which is completely not even true. And that's how it all started.
Wow. We have a